everyone, myself is Divya Bahal, Assistant Professor in Chemical Engineering Department at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. The subject that we are going to continue is Mass Transfer Operations 2. So, in this lecture we will complete the last few final topics of your adsorption chapter, right? So, starting with the equipment of your adsorption. So, we studied about pressure swing adsorption, fluidized bed and theta bed. The remaining are what? Fixed bed and the moving bed. So what is fixed bed adsorber? So first of all, this is a continuous contact apparatus, right? It is like packed bed, but the solid particles here are what? It is the solid of adsorbent which participates in mass transfer. Whereas in your packed bed, the solids are what? Those are the packings which are not taking part in your mass transfer. So, but what is this? This is an unsteady state kind of operation because composition of your fluid and solid, okay, it changes with time and the position of bed, right? So, fixed bed adsorber, they are generally used for recovery of solvent vapors from gases, to carry out the dehydration of gas and liquid, for decolorization of lubricating oils and vegetables oil, right? Now, in general, how operation is done, you take into account two beds at a time, okay? One which is doing the adsorption process and second which carries out the regeneration of your adsorbent, okay? So how regeneration is achieved here? It is achieved by using hot inner gas or low pressure steam. So steam is used when your water, it is insoluble, so that on condensation it produces two immiscible layers, okay? So this, because of gravity, it can be separated. So steam, low pressure steam is used when your water is insoluble. So the one adsorption cycle here is what? The time duration is about 2 to 24 hours, right? So here you can see that this is your fixed bed adsorber, how two adsorber beds are kept here. So for liquid, tall columns are needed because the process is slow in case of liquid. So if you are using adsorption to carry it out for liquid solution, then tall columns are used. So in case of moist gases, bed of activated silica gel, alumina is used, right? Now here we will study about the concentration profile in fixed bed, how concentration changes. So first of all, what is happening here? Solute which is present in your fluid, okay, whether liquid or gas, that transfers into your adsorbent solid, right? So here a new term is introduced. What is adsorption zone? This is the region where most of your adsorption occur. So here you can see the graph of y upon y naught to bed length, where your y upon y naught is what? That is the ratio of concentration in fluid relative to that in fluid entering. Suppose y naught is the initial concentration and y is at any time instant or at any bed length, y is what? The concentration of fluid which is there. So y upon y naught is what? That is your concentration ratio relative to initial concentration which is entering the bed, right? So here you can see that from theta 1 to theta 4 we have 4 curves, okay? So here you can see that for theta 1 curve you can see inlet adsorbent is 0 here, okay? Fresh adsorbent is introduced to your solid. So at that time condition, very less amount of adsorbent is present or 0 amount of adsorbent is present in your bed. So hence here you can see that very fast your adsorption will occur, right? Then theta 2 curve is where what? That now your inlet of your bed has been saturated. So now the adsorption process has shifted to a deeper length of your bed. Okay, so in theta 3 now you can see that further this adsorption zone has shifted to the bed length, along the bed length. It has went deeper now because at theta 1 and theta 2 for that bed length already adsorbent has become saturated with the solute. Now at theta 4, that is end of the bed, most of adsorption has already occurred. It means now here the concentration in your effluent is what? Almost 0 because most of the solute has been transformed. So this way you can see that along the bed length how your concentration is changing, okay? Now the dash line here is what? It shows that equilibrium between adsorbate and the adsorbent is there, okay? So till that level only your adsorption can occur, right? So moving forward, now the concept is about adsorption wave and breakthrough point. So first of all, when the fluid containing solute is introduced to the adsorbent, the top layer of adsorbent adsorbs very rapidly because here concentration difference is very high. So as soon as your solute introduced here, your adsorption occurs very rapidly. right? The rest of the solute is adsorbed in the lower part of adsorbent bed. The top of your bed, it absorbs the solute, it gets saturated, and then this adsorption process shifts to the bed which is lower to the entrance point, right? So the topmost part gets saturated with your solute, and the bottommost part is what the solute is what 0, because most of adsorption has occurred, and so effluent is going down which has no solute present in it. Okay, at what time? When you're just starting your adsorption process. Now here see, bulk adsorption occurs in adsorption zone where concentration changes very rapidly, right? So now if you're continuously passing your solution through this bed, then what will happen? This adsorption zone, it moves through the bed like a wave. Okay, after some point when the concentration of solute, what happens? The concentration of solute now increases in effluent, which means that system has reached the breakthrough point. So see, try to understand in the figure when you're introducing your feed solution. So here you can see that when the lines are very near to each other, it means here what solute is transferring into your adsorbent. So for that is your adsorption zone here, okay, and the effluent concentration is what? C naught. It means your solute has been taken out from your solution. But on this same bed, if you're continuously flowing your solution, then what is happening? The bed which is getting saturated, its thickness increases. Then at D point you can see that most of the bed has what already been saturated with your solute. So now there is very less tendency to carry out the adsorption. So it means now adsorption is not happening effectively. So what will happen now? The concentration of solute will be increasing in your effluent because it is not able to get adsorbed on the adsorbent. Hence at CC point, that is your break point, where what will happen, where your solute its concentration will increase, and at CD the concentration of solute is maximum because it shows that your whole bed of adsorbent is saturated with your solute. So now next topic is the steady state moving bed adsorber. Okay, the condition is what? It is steady state, right? Because your movement of both fluid and adsorbent is happening right at constant rate. The problem like channeling is there, non-uniform flow rate is there. Okay, these are the associated problems with moving bed, but now with advance of time these problems have been eliminated. So now what is the kind of exchange here? Counter current contact is there, right, between adsorbate and adsorbent. See what is happening, your bed is already fixed, adsorbent is already fixed here, but counter current in fashion they are contacting. Here fluidization has to be avoided. So to avoid the fluidization, what is done, that your liquid is fed on the top. If from bottom the liquid is fed, then it is possible that it will carry adsorbent solid with itself. So now here to create a continuous movement we use what? Piston pump. So here you can see that for 3 figure the cycle is shown. Okay, how liquid is entered from the top, valves are there which doesn't allow the liquid to flow downward. Okay, the downward part is what? That is the regeneration, and you can see the piston pump is there. So once your liquid has been introduced, adsorption occurs, then piston pump starts to work, which recirculates your both solid and liquid throughout the bed. Okay, so this way whole cycle is achieved. Now the next topic is elution and chromatography. So first of all, what is elution? So it is desorption of adsorbed solute by a solvent, that is called your elution, and the desorption solvent is called as elutant. The solvent which you are using to carry out the desorption, that is your elutant. So now another term is eluate. What is it? The effluent stream. Okay, you are adding the elutant here, so it will carry out what? Desorption. So that effluent stream which contains dissolved solute and the remaining eluting solvent, that is your eluate. Okay, so now here from graphical you can see that we have graph of what? Y versus quantity of eluate. So area under this OABC curve, it shows us that the amount of solute which is removed. So what is Y here? That is the concentration of your solute in eluate. So here you can see that OA, it means the concentration of your solute, that is very high, because yes, you are using what? You are using a solvent to carry out desorption, so but naturally it's starting, the concentration will be very high, and it will then decrease because most of the solute has been dissolved, right? So this is what this curve is obtained in your elution, and the area under this curve is what? It shows us the amount of solute which is removed. Now the next topic is what? Chromatography. So here, suppose for example, we are taking an example, we have solution mixture of A plus B, okay, where A has tendency to get absorbed more easily than B, okay, it means A is getting very fastly absorbed, it has strong absorption as compared to B. So now what we are doing, so when the solution is fed into your bed of your adsorber, now along with that what you are doing, you are adding a desorption solution, that is you are using elution to carry out the desorption. So when desorption solution is added, elutant is added, okay. So as B has less tendency, it has less absorption against the adsorbent, so it will get dissolved very easily as compared to A. Now see here, what is kept in your bed? It is having adsorbent, okay. A and B is your mixture, and you have added what? You have added your desorption solvent also. So what will happen? It will a series of reabsorption and redesorption will occur throughout the bed. Okay. So but B being less inclined toward adsorbing, at the bottom of your fixed bed, okay, B will totally get dissolved along with your elutant. So only A will be remaining in your fixed bed, right? In your adsorbent. So this way complete separation of components can be achieved. That totally depends on the adsorbing tendency of your solute on your adsorbent. So this is the most efficient method used to analyze the mixture. Suppose you have mixture of 4-5 components, okay. So what you are doing, you are adding that mixture on your adsorber bed, okay, on your fixed bed, and along with that you are adding your desorption solution. So along the length of the bed, each component based on its tendency will be separated out, okay. So that way you can analyze the mixture. What is based on its wavelength, okay, based on the length of the adsorber you can analyze the mixture, that which component is present, right. So here you can see that for the whole length, right, A and B, how they are separated. So in final figure E you can see that B has been totally taken out along with your elutant, okay, and only A is remaining. So that way you have analyzed it. So this way chromatography is used to analyze your mixture, right. So that was for today's lecture. Thank you.